Thank you very much for coming to the webinar. My name is Aleksandra Pawlik. I work at the University of Manchester, so I'm supporting ELIXIR-UK in training activities. Training activities are the technical coordinator for training activities, Aleksandra who just joined us. Hi, Alex. So I'm supporting mainly data and software carpentry rollout within ELIXIR, and a part of so the main activity that we're undertaking at the moment is one of the pilot projects for rolling out software and data carpentry within ELIXIR. That was one of the projects that were funded last year in the autumn. The pilot project, the full title is Building the Foundation for Data Carpentry and Software Carpentry within ELIXIR. The pilot is led by ELIXIR-UK, and there are several collaborating and supporting nodes. In particular, there is ELIXIR Netherlands, ELIXIR Finland, ELIXIR Switzerland, Sweden and Slovenia that were supporting this pilot and are also collaborating with us, ELIXIR-UK, on making it happen. The pilot is for 18 months, started in January early this year, and there are 3 events. I'm going to be talking more about the pilot and also more why we undertook software and data carpentry, but just to give you a bit of introduction, there are 3 events planned in the pilot. The first event has already happened in March. I will be giving some feedback from it and summarizing what happened during today's webinar. So that first event was a data carpentry hackathon and workshop hosted by ELIXIR Finland between 16th and 17th of March. And the hackathon was to create training material. So it wasn't a coding hackathon, it wasn't software development hackathon. Now the upcoming event, very similar in its format, is an event hosted by ELIXIR Netherlands that will be in the end of June, between 22nd and 25th of June at Utrecht University. The one in Finland was in Espoo at CSC, Center for Computational Science, at Espoo near Helsinki. It's actually almost Helsinki. And final event, the third event of the hackathon, is going to be hosted by ELIXIR Switzerland, and this will be instructor training. I will be discussing instructor training in detail also later on in this webinar, and that is going to be in early 2016. Most likely January, very, very soon after the Christmas break. We're still working out the dates with the Swiss node, but since there is quite sufficient time, we're still sort of on a bit of a in a bit of a working discussion here. But as soon as we have a date, and hopefully we're going to soon agree that, we're going to announce it so that people can plan in their calendars. The announcements for the event in Netherlands are gradually going out. They have been circulated, I believe, within the training coordinators group. Also, those participants who were in Finland, they also received the information, so they also are spreading the message around in their nodes. So why this pilot? What is the main purpose? There are actually 2 purposes of this pilot. The first one is to leverage the work that is already done by data and software carpentry initiatives. So rather than building from scratch, rather than starting something from scratch, we're going to be using what software and data carpentry have already built, and I will explain why it's worth to use that model, why it's worth to base on the community experiences, on the experiences of the initiatives, and the materials that are generated. And the second purpose is to launch data and software carpentry initiatives within ELIXIR, so that these workshops can be run within ELIXIR by different nodes or across nodes even, and provide training. Now, let's first look at the training needs. These needs are, here's the example from a survey that was conducted by Bioinformatics Research Australia, and we believe strongly that these sort of can be extrapolated to the needs that we see within ELIXIR. Also, some of the shorter polls we had, a shorter sort of probing done within ELIXIR-UK by different training sectors. We've seen similar response. There was a large survey also run by our industry liaison, Gabriela Rostizzi. So the industry also reports similar needs for better skills in computationally working with data, with computational lab skills for research and for science. These needs can be addressed by training. So there's need for skills, there's need for knowledge, and the best way this can be addressed, and the way the researchers reported, is to get more training, to be trained better, to receive more, to be able to go to workshops or have access to training materials. And we see definitely this need in ELIXIR, within ELIXIR across nodes. But why software and data carpentry? I said that one of the purposes is to leverage the work that was already done by this initiative, so there is some work in place. But why is it something that we decided to go with? Why is it so useful for ELIXIR? First of all, both data and software carpentry initiatives this is training designed specially for researchers. So it's training that is not aiming to provide the same type of knowledge and the same type of skill and the same scope as it would be for computer scientists or professional software developers, because that's not the purpose. It is designed so that researchers gain just enough skills to make them more productive, to make them more efficient, also to allow them to produce research that is reproducible, results that are reproducible, to be able to share the results, to be able to use the resources that are available there in a more efficient way. And so training that is the materials that are available around it, because there is a proliferation of materials. There are two problems commonly reported. The first problem is that a lot of the material that is available assumes a lot of prior knowledge, which often scientists don't have, because they're trained in their science, they're experts in their domain, but not necessarily in computational skills or working with data. The second problem is that materials are scattered. They're in a way, they're fragmented. They're not necessarily put together in one concise curriculum. So that makes it difficult to put together for a researcher who's trying to gain some knowledge. It's difficult to construct their own curriculum. They need some guidance. In particular, also, when it comes to data skills, the proliferation of data, massive amounts of data, and our ability nowadays to produce more and bigger data sets means that the efficiency in manipulating the data and in working with the data is absolutely essential for most of the data-driven science. And so what data and software carpentry offers is training that is stable and cut precisely for the needs that the scientists have. Both initiatives are led by the community and oriented at the community. And the community underpinning both data and software carpentry are mainly researchers. So the community does not consist of people who are software developers, software engineers, or computer scientists. Obviously, they still exist within the community, but the majority of the community are researchers or scientists who either went through data software carpentry training, that's how they joined, because they first went to a workshop, or they were looking for places where they could learn more, and they found software and data carpentry, and they joined the community, or they already provide the training, but they need community to join to be able to be better instructors, better teachers. So whatever happens in software and data carpentry is a decision that is driven based on the feedback that comes from the community. Now, the training material, all the training materials within software and data carpentry are free and open source. They're available freely for reuse. They're available for anybody to take them and work with them during whatever kind of teaching they prefer. I will be talking more about licensing, but I can just say here that briefly that the license is very permissive. The training material can be even used in commercial teaching. The only thing that we're asking is to provide attribution to the original authors. I said earlier that this is a community-led and community-oriented project, and indeed improvements, changes to the lessons, amendments, lessons, examples, exercises, all this is sort of constantly happens. It's the community that creates the materials, that improves the materials, that works on a group of materials. So you have a critical mass working on materials, and even if this is all volunteer effort, so most people cannot really spend a lot of time. But even if you have small contributions, if you multiply these small contributions by a large group of people, you actually get quite a good progress and quite stable progress as well. So that allows for having sustainable, long-term progress of these materials. Also, the training model, which is based on so using the materials that are prepared for the researchers, but also hands-on workshops. This model has been tested and is quite well established. So we don't have to find a way how to teach. We have a way of teaching that has been proved to be working. And the community is not only community consisting of researchers and experts in domains, also experts in these particular computational tools and methods that we're teaching in these skills, but also it's an international community. So there is lots of networking, lots of exchange of information, lots of knowledge exchange as well, and that also helps to provide better quality of training. And finally, there is a possibility for organizations such as ELIXIR and ELIXIR nodes to formally liaise with software and data carpentry thanks to the organizational membership program, which I'm also going to discuss in details. But basically, it's not all sort of up in the air, a volunteer effort. There are more formalized ways to establish collaboration. Can everybody hear me okay? Because I'm not getting any feedback. I'm just wondering if everything is fine.
We can hear you.
Okay, excellent.
Yeah, we can hear you.
Great. So just a brief overview of both initiatives. Software carpentry is older, so both are connected, which you may guess from the name if you never came across software and data carpentry. These initiatives are connected. Software carpentry was out there first. In fact, it's been out there for about 18 years, but it's the last 3-4 years that it has been developing very intensely, building community, growing community, and growing pool of instructors around it. And data carpentry is sort of a younger sister initiative that emerged in 2014, early 2014, and became more solid and stable throughout the past year. Software carpentry was originally designed, and it's kind of becomes is sticking to these roots as training for scientists who mainly work with so who develop some sort of source code or work with legacy source code, and whilst they learning coding per se is not a difficult thing for them, they may struggle. They may need support in learning how to be more effective automating their tasks, how to write better code, structured programming, how to test their code, how to use things like version control to be able to collaborate on their source code, manage their source code in a better way. So these are skills which are sort of engineering skills for working in computational science. Now, data carpentry emerged because as the software carpentry workshops were running, it became clear that there is a need for training for audience that is not quite there yet with writing source code or maybe working with legacy code. Maybe they won't ever write that much code, but they definitely need better skills to manipulate their data, to be able to analyze their data, to be able to share their data, to be able to clean their data, and so on. And also, it looks like this group is mainly a group that does not have a lot of computational skills. Again, they're experts in their domain. They might be experts in statistics. Very often they are. But what data carpentry teaches is not statistics. It's not machine learning. It's none of these things. It's how to approach working with your data, how to stop using a spreadsheet tool for everything, and how to move out of that spreadsheet into using tools such as R and Python to handle your data, how to work with structured data. For that, we use Introduction to SQL, and also how to sort of build workflow, how to automate repetitive tasks. For that, we use command line and shell scripts. Now, if we look a little bit closer, I'm going to talk a bit more about data carpentry since the ELIXIR Python focus on data carpentry. So this pyramid here shows the skills of the target audience, and data carpentry targets the sort of this first level of the pyramid. So scientists who have data, potentially a lot of data, they typically manipulate the data in spreadsheets. They can perform some statistical analysis using the spreadsheets. Maybe they perform quite advanced statistics using, however, still either spreadsheet tools or proprietary software, but still this is not programmatically implemented statistics. And they're getting stuck. This is not enough for them. The work that they're doing is, first of all, not reproducible. It's extremely difficult to reproduce what was done in spreadsheets, and potentially they also need something that will allow them to share the work they're doing in a more effective way. And this is where data carpentry is applicable. This is where the training is useful. Now, data carpentry targets audiences across different disciplines, from life sciences through sociology, geosciences, to digital humanities as well. And also, it is designed for researchers at different levels of their career. And it's true that we observe at workshops that it's mainly junior researchers, PhD students, often MSc students, postdoctoral researchers that come to the workshops, but it's not unusual that we get more senior participants as well. And we do have, there's a growing interest from researchers in industry in the carpentry training. Now, let's have a look at the comparison between software and data carpentry. So I talked a lot about both of these initiatives. I talked about them together. I talked about the similarities, but there are differences. First of all, data carpentry focuses on data wrangling, managing, manipulation, whilst software carpentry is focusing on software development skills, tools, and methods. The other big difference is that data carpentry assumes absolutely no prior knowledge, and this is how the workshops are advertised. In software carpentry, the materials do assume there is underlying assumption, and we try to advertise it as such, that knowledge of some concept related to programming is really useful. So things like variable, loop, function, and so on. However, whilst running workshops over the past 3 years, we noticed that there is a massive need from beginners, complete beginners, also for software carpentry. So there are materials that are addressed as complete beginners, and we do have workshops where we have a group of beginners coming as part of the student group. That is probably we'll be trying to push software carpentry, place it exactly as a sort of a little bit higher level training. Data carpentry will be filling up the space for complete beginners. It's also due to the fact that the curriculum in software carpentry is probably a little bit too difficult for somebody who's a complete beginner. Or maybe not too difficult, but is not too convincing. Whilst for somebody who has done a little bit programming, doesn't have to be a lot, they immediately see the usefulness of things that we teach in software carpentry. So there's this slight difference. And what is in common is the workshop model, the open source materials, the infrastructure, which is mainly based on GitHub. The community is partially shared. Lots of people contribute to both and engage in both initiatives. The instructor pool and instructor training is currently shared. And the curriculum that is different curriculum for software data carpentry, but the concept behind the fact that the curriculum is stable, that data and software carpentry mean a particular curriculum. It's not just some sort of computational training. So a few more words about the workshops. The training is delivered during 2 days, hands-on workshops. This is the standard sort of model for the workshops. It's practically impossible to have these workshops shorter because of the amount of the material. However, there have been workshops that were extended to 3 days or 5 days. This is all down to the hosts. So the organizers, they want to host the workshops, they can make different decisions. The reason why the basic model assumes 2 days, it's because that is the most feasible for both instructors and trainees to give up 2 days and come to training. This is a full day. Both days are full day, so you have to give up everything else. You come for a full day training. Once we introduce 3 days, it turns out that a lot of instructors cannot do 3 days training. Instructors are all volunteers. They're not paid for the time. So again, this is something which they have to sort of carve out of their normal jobs. Same applies to trainees, to students who need to, if that becomes longer than 2 days, many of them cannot do it. In cases where we had longer workshops, it was often a sort of a group of trainees it wasn't an open workshop, it was, let's say, an MSc course where the convener of the course decided that software carpentry will be a part of a sort of a week-long training in computational skills. So that's how we had these longer workshops. But there were I'm aware at least of 2 cases, and I think there are more. One in Australia and one is, I think, in the US, where software carpentry was transformed into a semester-long course. As I said, materials are free to use and reuse and extend. There's actually a lot of material. The material that is available is more than you can teach within 2 days. So you can easily, with some work, transfer that into a semester-long course. But the basic model is 2 days hands-on. This is run by qualified instructors. I was mentioning instructors pool over and over again. I'm going to talk about how instructors are trained and certified. So we have an instructors pool for software and data carpentry, and these people are volunteers. They run workshops. So what usually happens is a hosting institution wants to run a workshop, contacts the administration for software or data carpentry. The admin looks for instructors that are free at a given date, matches the instructors with the hosts. So the instructors are qualified in running that type of training. We also ask for help from the local helpers. helpers don't need to be super knowledgeable. Because these are hands-on workshop, there's no sort of traditional lecturing part. It's all doing things on either users' machines, students' machines, as you can see on this picture. It's a picture taken during Data Carpentry in Manchester, or on the desktops available at the university, and the helpers are there to quickly resolve any issues that the students may have. We use post-it notes. It's a system which is quite difficult to explain, but when you see it, you understand immediately. We always have every student has 2 post-it notes, one red and one green. If they have a problem, so if they're trying to execute something that the instructor is showing, so they're trying to follow instructor steps, if they run into problems, they post the red sticky note, and then the helper can very quickly see somebody's got a problem, approaches them quickly, helps them solve the problem, and this person can carry on. So you don't have to, if you're a student, you have to raise your hand. You don't have to stop the whole group, interrupt the instructor. You use the red post-it note. The green note indicates you finished the exercise or you're done. It also is helpful feedback to instructors. Very, very small trick, a very useful trick, small, but very, very useful. And of course can be used outside of software and data carpentry. All materials are available online after the workshop, so the students can get back to them and sort of refresh what they learned. And before and after the workshop, we run standardized surveys, and we can share the results, anonymized results, with the hosts of the workshops. Currently, there is an administration fee. This is to support sustainability of running both software and data carpentry. So there's an administration fee for the first workshop. There is a $1,250 American dollars, and then subsequent workshop $750. However, if the workshop is fully self-organized, so you don't have to reach out to the administration to find instructors, to register students, and so on, this fee is not charged. So if you decide to run the workshop, however, to brand it software and data carpentry, you have to meet 2 conditions: at least 1 certified instructor, and the curriculum, the core curriculum, has to be included. Other than that, you can organize it yourself. Then the fee is not charged. And there is also an option for the organizational membership, which I mentioned earlier. So let's have a look at these options. Software carpentry, as of recently, is formally a foundation. Data carpentry is not a foundation yet, although this may happen, but that is still something which is to be discussed. But software carpentry is formally a foundation and offers organizational membership program. There are 3 types of membership for organizations: partner, affiliate, and sponsor. And I think in case of ELIXIR and ELIXIR nodes, is partner and affiliate, which are interesting. So partner is quite bigger. A partner should have at least 3 qualified instructors available, and wants to commit to coordinating at least 20 workshops per year. That means providing administration support, organizing and hosting these workshops, and contributes either 10,000 American dollars per year or staff time. I think it's defined as 20 hours, but I would have to look it up in detail. In exchange, there is no administration fee on the workshops organized by the partner. There is dedicated instructor training delivered to the partner and the candidates for the instructors, and the partner also can have a representative within the advisory council for the Software Carpentry Foundation, so have a direct say on certain decisions made by the foundation. Affiliate is very similar, it's just that the scale is smaller. So 2 qualified instructors, coordination of 3 workshops per year. There is $50,000 contribution per year or staff time. Again, I would have to look up exactly how many hours. In exchange, there is no dedicated instructors training, although that is probably possible after some discussions, but there are definitely reserved places at instructor training, which is really important because these instructor training fill up very quickly. An administration fee for the workshops organized by the affiliate, and again, a representative to the advisory council. Sponsor is basically, this category was designed because we have organizations that are interested in sponsoring software data carpentry, but not interested in running workshops. So this is probably something which is not that interesting for either ELIXIR as a whole or ELIXIR nodes. Now, I said that this organizational membership program is Software Carpentry Foundation program, but these partnerships are sort of transferable to data carpentry. So both partners and affiliates, definitely that will be the case for ELIXIR nodes. That would mean that these sort of conditions would apply also for data carpentry workshops. And the ELIXIR United Kingdom is already an affiliate according to these affiliation grades. Now, briefly on the materials and licensing. Materials are available and freely available and can be reused. They're all on Creative Commons license. And so if there are any new materials created for software data carpentry, so if anybody wants to make a contribution, in order to have these materials sort of certified as software data carpentry, the creator needs to accept that they will have the CC BY license. By all means, you can take the model, software carpentry, data carpentry training model, and use it for your materials and put different license on it. But if you would like to have it as software data carpentry material, we use that licensing for material. So that's an important thing to mention. What is used for materials development as an infrastructure is Git and GitHub. Now we're working on ways for making it very easy to contribute to those who don't know Git and GitHub, so sort of lowering that barrier gradually. And another difference, which I sort of mentioned between the lines between software and data carpentry, is that software carpentry, the training is, the materials are sort of cross-disciplinary. So the material in structured programming in Python might be used for teaching physicists, but also might be used for teaching biologists, whilst data carpentry aims to develop materials specifically designed for different disciplines. And so there will be similar materials, but they're going to be using examples, using data sets for discipline. Instructor training, which I have been mentioning over and over again, it is designed. It's instructor training is designed and mainly run by Greg Wilson, who started Software Carpentry and currently is an executive director of the Software Carpentry Foundation. And the instructor's training is not about training people in programming on all these tools that we're teaching. Instructor's training is to train the trainers to be effective teachers. So to make them good educators. And the curriculum is based on research that looks into best practices for education, for pedagogy, for teaching and training. So it is not something that is looking only on software and data carpentry material. Currently, it's run either online, then it is very long because it extends up to 12 weeks, but it means that you work in your own time, and every couple of weeks there's an online call to discuss some of the concepts of Greg Wilson, and you're in a cohort, so you're sort of in a group that meets together every couple of weeks, and mainly you work in your own time. It's about 2 hours per week on average, but you manage your own time. And because this is quite long, it can extend up to 12 weeks. There is also a face-to-face version of this instructor training. It's 2 days, very intense workshop, again, full 2 days. We have run a few of these so far, and we're working towards scaling it up because that is a little bit easier than going for 12 weeks of training. But both things run in parallel. There is the online groups are filled up until I think autumn this year, and there are plans to run the instructor training remotely. That is it would be 2 days, full days, but it would be run potentially online. Greg has tested it recently in US, and that worked pretty well. It is to help reduce the costs for running the training. Now, just briefly, feedback from what we've done within the first event at ELIXIR Finland. So now you know a bit more about software data carpentry, and it will be easier now to discuss what we did in Finland. The main goal of the pilot is to familiarize, to sort of show how software data carpentry is useful, can be useful, and the model how it can be useful across ELIXIR within the nodes. So it's to spread the word, the knowledge about this type of training. But we do it in the pilot in a very concrete way. So this first event, that was a joint hackathon for creating materials and then a workshop. So the first 2 days, we had 11 nodes represented. We had, I think, 16 participants, because there were several from Finland, local participants that joined us as well. And the first half of the first day, we introduced I was running this with another experienced software carpentry and data carpentry instructor, Francois Michonneau, who's based in Florida. We introduced both initiatives to the participants, and then we moved on for the rest of these 2 days to working on the training materials. And we actually did quite a lot of work. As you can see, there are a number of materials that were developed or improved. So this was the point of the hackathon, to familiarize the participants with the concepts of software and data carpentry, but also to show them how these materials are created and how you can use the model of software data carpentry to recast the materials you have in that fashion. That is to take the working training model and use it for your own training. And the hackathons were then followed by the regular workshop. So the participants of the hackathon are not the participants of the workshop. So the workshop was aimed at people that wanted to learn the skills provided by data carpentry. Mainly these were participants from Finland. We had, I think, a couple from Estonia, which is kind of normal in a sense that workshops are usually attract local participants because there is depending on the workshop, but typically there's no funding for the participants to come. There's funding for the hackathon participants, for the representatives of ELIXIR nodes, but not for the trainees. And we used some of the materials we developed over the course of previous 2 days. And some of the hackathon participants managed to stay at the workshop to be able to see how the workshop is delivered. And now when they came back to their nodes, they're hopefully able to explain that within their node. And so what is our further work now with software data carpentry in ELIXIR? Apart from running the remaining events of the pilot, we want to develop a pool of certified instructors across ELIXIR, so that we can meet the demand for training. We want to support the ELIXIR nodes in becoming Software Carpentry Foundation Partners affiliates if they choose to do so, just like ELIXIR-UK did. And this will obviously be related to launching and running software and data carpentry workshops across ELIXIR, so nodes running these workshops. Apart from running the workshops, the actual software and data carpentry workshops, we want to really make aware people involved in training, interested in training within ELIXIR, about the training teaching model that is available in Carpentries, and making them aware of how you can take that model and use it for your own training, for running the courses you already run. And I think that's all. Thank you very much for your attention. And I think we have about 15 minutes for questions.